Yo, what's up? It's the Book Reviews podcast where we discuss all things books. I'm Jesse James, and with me, as always, is Andrew Carnegie, and we are here to do yet another one. This is our, I think, edition 3 of It's a Book Review Comics. So we're here to talk about comics again, to do another little weekly update on the things we have been reading in comic land since we last talked about it, which has been like a week or a week and a half ish.
Yeah.
So, dude, I mean, it's I've low key been on a tear with the comics. So, I've read a lot of things. I'm not going to mention everything because not all of it's really worth talking about. But I mean, how you been?
What's your
feeling
number though
overall?
now?
I'm trying to get back to that. Okay,
Just
so
show you.
just single issues. I'm at a 437 now.
Dude, I want to say that's got to be at least 200 more than the last time we filmed.
Dude,
I mean,
I had some days.
Maybe.
I mean, we just had Labor Day, man, and I ended up
Labor
not
Day.
doing quite as much as I was going to initially. And dude, there were a couple of days in there where I read like 20 plus issues. And some of it makes sense because I had a couple HCs that I got through. So like a lot of it was a single session of reading a lot of comics. And it was a good time,
Yeah.
man. What are you at total?
My total, I want to say it's almost 200. 196 or 197. It's loading.
Dude.
197. So
almost at a
be over 200
milestone
for sure.
And the reason it's significant for us to track this is because, I mean, I've been lightly reading comics since the end of last year, but really just kicked into gear the last few weeks. You've been reading comics now for what, about 23 days? It feels like.
Probably. I don't even know. It's probably been a month. It's definitely been a month. Maybe. I'd have to go back and look. But it hadn't been that long.
It hasn't been long. It has not been long. You are at a high average rate for daily issues. So we've been grinding, man. We've been enjoying it. So we're gonna hit a couple of these. If you don't know, we've already kind of said it, but Absolute DC is kind of where it all started from us, and then we've just branched out from there. Hit some of the foundational stuff here recently, but I guess we'll start there since we're all caught up on Absolute, I guess, except for Green Lantern and Superman that came out yesterday. But I mean, the highlight of Absolute has got to be Absolute Martian Manhunter 6, the conclusion of that first arc. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. So wait, you haven't read Superman or Martian Man or Green Lantern?
Not the ones that came out yesterday. They haven't come in yet. Okay. I'm waiting on those two and the Batman #1.
I gotcha.
Matt Fraction.
So yeah, Martian Manhunter was definitely my favorite, and then it's probably Batman, and then Superman, Green Lantern, and then Wonder Woman was the one that just didn't really do it for me. But as we've discussed off air, I guess it's more, and I guess it's the point that you've brought up more so, but that it seems like it's written for a trade paperback, but we're reading it issue to issue. So it's like that transition did not cross over as well as I think the other storylines did from like the other Absolute worlds. Just for me personally, Superman's pretty good though, and I think you'll like the Green Lantern one as well. The Green Lantern one's a little confusing, but the Superman one's solid.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying. The Green Lantern has gone up as far as my enjoyment of it, especially after issue 5. Superman, I mean, has been contending for my favorite overall this entire time, and it's still up there. But dude, the last Batman was insane. It was Absolute Batman 11, I believe, is the most recent one, and it's, no spoilers or anything, but it's essentially Bane's backstory. And then what happens towards the end of the comic is just, I mean, dude, I was sweating. I was like, there's no way this is happening. So that was pretty sick. But yeah, overall, Absolute DC is still kind of number 1 in my heart and like the main thing that I look forward to on a monthly basis.
Yeah, I agree. It's been fun.
Yeah. So outside of that, we got, I guess, maybe a few current runs to talk about. Well, we'll kind of hit, I think we got some trades and stuff to talk about. So, I mean, let's get into it, man. The last week, you want to do like, even though we liked all of these, like lowest enjoyment level to our favorite over the last week of what we've read?
Yeah, I'm game.
Okay, so I'll go up first. I think I might have one or two more. So I like this one, but it'll probably be the least, and part of it's just because it's shorter. But 2022 Aquaman Andromeda. It's just a 3-issue series. And I just thought it was cool, man. The main thing from this issue that I really enjoyed was just the art. I got these, they're black label, and I assume there's normal editions. You were with me. It's when we were at that comic shop in Noonan, actually. It's like the wider comics. So
Oh,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
obviously just a bigger page, and the art is just, you can tell they really, I mean, it makes sense
yeah,
too because a lot of it's in the ocean, so they can just make these beautiful looking panels. But it's a pretty cool story. It had like a slight, like very slight horror vibe to it, which was actually kind of sick. So I kind of wish there was more of this. There might be more from this creative team for Aquaman because I've not read anything Aquaman other than this. But yeah, Aquaman Andromeda was pretty cool. Almost no commitment, like I said, 3 issues. So I enjoyed it, but yeah, that's lowest on the list, but still really enjoyed it. What do you have first for us?
So I finally received some trade paperbacks for Thundercats. So that's kind of what started this off. Or that was the
Let's
first
go,
purchase I ever
dude.
made, and then there was a long siesta because I didn't understand how purchasing comics worked. Um, but I read Thundercats Cheetara, or Cheetara. So it's just like a 1 or a 6 issue run, or maybe 5 issue run, and that's it. And it just kind of gives you more backstory on the like main Thundercats run. It's kind of almost like a prequel. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then also I'm up to date with Thundercats Lost. So the first 5 issues, the issue might have just come out. I didn't see it at the store when I went, but this is also kind of like another side vein, but it's a current run. Um,
Okay.
Thundercats, and it's been pretty cool too. I like Thundercats, man. It's just one of those things because I have the nostalgia. It's fun, but it's so crazy going from reading like we'll talk about it later, but some of the other stuff we've read where it's like kind of dense material. I mean, you're reading a lot, like there's lots of words on the panels. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot going on. Like it really is like a time investment to read one. Whereas, dude, on some of these, especially the Cheetara ones, dude, I read a single issue in like 4 minutes, maybe less. Like because there's so many where if there is dialogue, it's so minimal. Like the blurbs almost look like a joke now going from some stuff to this. So it's definitely more the casual fun where it's the art's still
Yeah.
pretty cool and whatnot, but it's not like super deep. Like I could see this being like a solid bridge for kids like wanting to kind of get into reading because it's not like a suggestive thing. Um,
Mm.
so anyway, but both of those have been good, and I'm excited to. I have to actually catch up with the actual Thundercats run because I think it's on 19 or 20, and I've only read the first like 7 or so. But anyway, those are like so easy, like almost no investment, Thundercats. So, but I've
Yeah.
liked them. They've not been great, but they've just been pretty. Like they've been good. Like I'll still always probably go back and read those just casually.
Yeah. So you would say for sure that it's good enough to where you're going to continue that run, that current run.
Oh yeah, Lost. The Lost one's pretty good.
Nice.
I like it more than the. There's more going on. Like there's more dialogue and stuff going on in this Lost one compared to the Chitara run. Um, I've been kind of out of the main Thundercats run for a while because I'm waiting on a single issue that I purchased, and it's like I could just read online, but and then catch up. But I literally am missing one issue. I think it's like issue 9, and I have the
Classic.
rest like up to the current run. But anyway,
It'd be
maybe
like that sometimes.
maybe I'll get it sometime soon.
Well, that's neat. Some good old Thundercats for the nostalgia. Speaking of that, so I mean, foundational stuff here. I had a few Batman, I guess, foundational quote unquote series that I got into. I've already got through some of them, like the Long Halloween, Dark Knight Returns, Year One. So this last week or so, I caught up on a few. One of them is Batman Hush, and then I also read the Gotham by Gaslight, Kryptonian Age. And then I also read Batman of Gotham. So these are 3 different trade paperbacks that I read. The Hush was the DC compact. So first one I'll talk about is the last one I mentioned. So the like current run of Batman. That's what these trade paperbacks are from. I read Failsafe first, and then Batman of Gotham is the Chip Zdarsky or whatever his name is. He's not writing this Batman anymore, the current run, but it's all right. Like I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. Like it's just some of it feels like maybe a little disconnected. The art is awesome, but the story just like it's not been great yet with this current. It's the 2016 to present run of Batman, and I got in at like the 2021-22 mark. Like I'm not reading every creative team's issues,
Yeah.
so I just started on that one, and it's been all right. It's not been great. I thought Hush was better than those, but for as much as I've heard about Batman Hush, it was not as good as I expected it to be honest. It was
Yeah.
like overall like a 4-star.
So many
The
people
bad guy
recommend it
is
too.
yeah, so many people recommend it and it's got really cool elements and it's a different bad guy that at least for me, it's not a well-known bad guy. I've never heard of him before, but it's very obvious who it is and it's presented as if it's like a detective thing, but it's very obvious who the bad guy is by like the 3rd issue. Like right when you meet the bad guy, when you're not supposed to know who he is, you know that's the bad guy. It's very obvious. So I don't know, man. It was all right, but it wasn't crazy. And then the Kryptonian Age, the Gotham by Gaslight stuff, the Kryptonian Age was fine to me, but if I had been reading that month to month, I would have been very disappointed because that whole
Yeah.
6 issues is basically a setup for the now current League of Justice run that they're doing. Like nothing actually really happens. It's just setting up these different characters in preparation for the League of Justice run. So I read those 3. There's a couple other Batman things I read, but those are the most prominent, I guess. I am going to continue in Chip Zdarsky's run. I'm going to finish everything he wrote just to kind of see what happens because again, the art is amazing in those, but not the best Batman stuff I've read. But it was fine. So, go Batman, go.
You and old Batman.
Love him. What you got?
So the next one I'll chat about. These both came out. Well, one came out. One came out yesterday. I can't remember. They either both came out. They've both been out like only a week or two, and that's going to be the first one I'll chat about is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, which
Mm,
it's one of Jesse's favorite titles.
I mean, a
Just because it's
mouthful.
so easy to say. But anyway, obviously, I don't know if this is on your list to chat about, but it's cool. I thought the artwork was really good in this, but also there's
Mhm.
just a huge nostalgia because Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like
Yeah.
those are like two of the things I cared the most about as like a child. So,
Yeah.
and I was worried it'd be childish, like it wouldn't be very, adult esque. But I didn't feel. Did you feel like it was kiddie? Like I felt like it was a normal
No, and
comic.
especially once it felt like a normal comic, but especially the ending made it feel like,
Yeah,
this is not necessarily for children's
yeah,
enjoyment. It wasn't crazy violent or inappropriate. It's just, it's like heavy subject matter, I guess.
yeah. One of the villains in there, like which was kind of like a sideway villain, was like a little like, all right. There's like an
Yeah.
animal villain that was like,
Yeah.
okay. But that kind of gets done with quickly, and then it's like, all right, let's get to real ones. But I think obviously we're realizing that this is the third version or whatever. So
Yeah.
I think I'll
Like the
probably go
3rd
back
series.
and yeah, and rip the first and second one just to see. Um, but then the other one that I read, this one was honestly probably my favorite single issue. It's just the other one I'm going to talk about. I just read so many of them, so I've gotten to see like a long storyline. But it's the Shredder, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredder that just came out, and dude, it was so
Mm.
sick. So,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
and the copy that we both got is so cool. So I'm sure I'll show that on screen. But we have that foil variant too, of course. So,
Of course.
but I'm excited to see where that storyline goes because it kind of sets stuff up to where it's like, man, I've got to go back and read like some OG Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I have the first 3 like volumes of the IDW like master thing where it like combines a bunch of stuff to like create like one long storyline. I think there's like 7 to 9 of those. I can't remember, but I have the first 3 and I've read the first one. But because clearly there's a lot of stuff that's happened that's kind of like high level stuff, stuff that would take a lot
Yeah.
of building to, which
Yeah.
I don't think you have to really know that going into this. I didn't feel that way, but it's just, there's I want to get back into that world. So that'll probably be something I'm diving into this next week if I get a chance. But yeah,
Nice.
those are the next 2 for me.
Nice. So next up for me would be DC's The Authority, which was released between 99 and 2002. This was also in a DC compact edition. I read it's like the first 12 issues, and then in the middle there's like a special thing that's not from one of the actual issues, but it's the same characters in the same world. I skipped that because I was like, if I don't have an issue to mark on this app, I'm not reading
Yeah.
it. But I read the first 12 issues of The Authority. I thought it was cool. I had heard kind of mixed things about The Authority, and I believe there's a movie based on that comic that's coming out in the next few years. It's basically like a different kind of Justice League with different characters that have different abilities, and it's really cool. Like you kind of have a Batman, you kind of have a Superman, but then outside of that, it's very different types of characters. And it's just cool. It was a fun read. I read it, in less than a day over the weekend, and it was just felt different. So it really stood out to me just because it is a lot different than a lot of the stuff I've read. I went into it thinking that it was supposed to be kind of like The Boys, like where these characters were gray and kind of anti-heroes, and I guess maybe they cuss and a few people die, but they're like bad guys. But other than that, it was not, and maybe that was a misunderstanding on my part, but I was thinking it was gonna be a little darker, a little more gray.
Yeah.
But they were pretty standard good guys, giving their life for the cause and that type of thing. But yeah, I thought The Authority was cool. Not much more to say about it, but I am looking forward to the movie at some point. Do
Shout
you
out
have
to The
any
Authority.
others besides the last one we're talking about?
Yeah, the only other thing I have is something that you've been doing too, and we'll make a separate like full video on this. But I'm 20 issues into Invincible, and it's awesome. So
It's so good.
I don't really want to talk more about that because I know we'll do like a full deep dive with that. We're hoping to get old Tommy O on here.
Hmm.
So if you know who Tom Orange is and you're listening at this point in the video, go ahead and pause us, open up another tab, go to whatever Tom Orange's next video is, and comment, Andrew and Jesse miss you.
Do it.
If one person does
Do it
that,
for the
that'll make my
squad.
day and hopefully his day. But anyway, 20 issues in, how you're a little past that, right? Where are you at? Do you know
I'm on
issue
like
wise?
24. Like I'm just
Okay.
past you. Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. So almost halfway, or in you're, I guess, already halfway through that first compendium, but it's been awesome. Can't
Yeah.
can't recommend like how easy it is to read, but then how also like the depth of
Yeah.
it. Um,
There
it's
is
really
something
good.
about it, dude. What is it that makes it so easy? Is it because we're reading out of a compendium and it just feels like easier? But
Maybe
I
it
like, what is
feels,
it? I don't, but you're right. Like it feels so easy to read an issue.
dude, and it's like I'll sit up and it's like you can't even really get in a great position for it to read it because it's so big. I lay mine on my bed and I'm like just leaning over like in like a crisscross applesauce thing because I don't have a good way
Dude,
to
I
hold
have
it.
a
Like if I sit in a
forklift in
chair,
my
I
room that
can't
has to
do
pick it
this.
up.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, dude,
It's
it's
huge.
insane. But I don't know. Yeah, it just feels like the quality of the compendium solid. I don't know because the artwork's not like insane. Obviously, it's kind of dated to
Mm-mm.
be honest, but it's good
Yeah.
enough to where it's still engaging. I don't know. I don't
I
know if it's because
wonder
I've
if
seen a
part
little
of
bit of
it
the show.
is that's what I was gonna say. I wish we could somehow like hack into our psyche to understand the effect it has of us having watched the show. So like we already have like voices in our head for these characters
Yeah.
and like all the movements and the way things might look off page. So I wonder if that kind of increases just the engagement overall. I would assume so.
Well, in that first
Um,
twist that happens in like episode 1 or 2, like because I didn't read Invincible before I saw the first season first. And I was like, "Wait, what is this show?" Like, it kinda is that huge twist of, like, it separates it from being just some normal
yeah,
comic, and it's like, "Wait, this is not like any like anything that I think comics are supposed to be like." So I think I just trust it. Like, going forward and knowing that big twist happened so early on, it's like I know something else is gonna come that's like like, that I don't see. Like, not just one thing, but like a bunch. And
yeah,
so I'm excited for that, but
yeah,
anyway, that's been my thing that
yeah.
I'm
It
look
definitely
forward
hooks
to the
you.
most, and I almost have to pace myself. 'Cause I could just keep reading that. Like, I honestly could probably knock that
Yeah,
compendium out in a couple days. Just because, like, I could be hyper focused, but I'm trying to let it let it
yeah.
soak in.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. If it's all I had at the house, I could certainly rip through it because I have so many things I wanna read, it's kinda easier to pace, but, okay, well, really quickly, I just have 2 more before we get into our final bigger, comic run to talk about. Firstly, so I read Grant Morrison's Superman Omnibus, which is Action Comics 0 through 18. And I guess it was the intro to the New 52. I watched a whole video by a comic guy today about the New 52, and it was basically a failed era of DC Comics where they tried to reboot things and it just didn't work. Like they didn't have a plan in place, so all these different creative teams were working on separate runs, but none of them knew the continuity, so stuff just got really messed up. And either way, these 19, because it's 0 through 18, these 19 comics I really enjoyed. Overall, I'd give the 19 comics together like slightly above a 4-star. It's by no means an S tier series, but I thought it was really good, man. I mean, it had some different stories that like, I feel like that's the thing with comics, especially with these landmark characters like Superman or Batman. The crux is, how do I make this character interesting that we already know? And especially like Superman and Batman, they're so big in like pop culture and there's so many different media tie-ins for these characters. So it's just a matter of what story can we come up with that's engaging, but also how can we like challenge this character? Because that's when we read fantasy books and stuff, the world building makes it interesting and like will keep you coming back. But the thing that really makes you love a series is always the characters. And I feel like sometimes that's where comics can struggle because there's not enough time to do character development. But
Yeah.
and I know there's a lot of people have issues with the New 52 Superman, and I could see some of them to a degree. He's kind of like got a chip on his shoulder. He's a little less of the just go lucky farm boy from Kansas that he often is portrayed as. And I can see both sides of that, liking it or disliking it. But overall, it was a pretty good run. I read like all 19 in almost a day. I read like the first 15, and then I finished it the following morning. So yeah, Grant Morrison's Superman, I enjoyed. The omnibus is really cool. I'll have to send you the picture. Like the slipcover looks really cool. It's like that one where he's lifting a tank above his head and half his body is shadowed out, and it looks really sick. But then the actual hardcover image is just beautiful looking. So anyway, overall, I really enjoyed that. And the last thing I'll just mention real quickly, I've read the first two of the current run of Captain America, also by Chip Zdarsky or whatever his name is, I believe, which I didn't realize till I started reading. It's the same guy that I've been reading the Batman stuff from. But just the first two issues in, so obviously I can't say much, but I really like it so far. So yeah, the new Captain America. Let me know if you're
Good old
if you're
cat.
hitting that new on Cap. And that's kind of the highlights for me. And I would probably say Captain America is like might be my overall highlight from, well, it's probably actually Absolute Martian Manhunter, but outside of Absolute,
Yeah.
Captain America might be my highlight, man. I'm hyped for this new series. So yeah,
Alright.
that brings us to what's probably in the thumbnail of this video. We have read the foundational, the all-knowing, the famous, the well-known, the award-winning Watchmen by, I think, Alan Moore. I know I should know that. Comic people love it. So before we get into it, the Watchmen. Everybody knows it. If you're watching this and you know anything about comics, you know you're very familiar. You've probably read it. You probably think it's one of the best comics of all time. Even if you're not into comics, you may be familiar with the movie that Zack Snyder did that I didn't think was very good. Or you
So there
may
is a
be
movie of
familiar.
this?
There
I didn't
is,
even
and
know.
it's Zack Snyder, the guy who directed like 300 and some of the DC stuff. And it's visually a good movie. It's just, you know, in my opinion, it's not working with the greatest material. So, I mean, let's just get
Yeah.
into it. Like, this is known as, like, by many people, it is considered the best comic of all time.
Hmm.
And I'm going to just say it here now. I don't know why. I
Yeah.
don't know why. I get why it's compelling. I get that it's different than other comics. I get that its commentary is really important, especially knowing that it came out in the 80s. But dude, I hate to say it because I feel like, especially as newbies in comics, it's just going to expose our uh, lack of knowledge. But dude, I don't know if people are just capping because you're supposed to
Yeah,
love
I
it
don't
if you
think
love comics.
I
But
can't see
dude,
the
it's like
average comic reader liking this. Like in today, like when I walk into the comic shop and I'm looking around at the fellow people in there, I just don't see them being like, "Dude, this groundbreaking." And maybe back in
I
the day
just
or something. Because when did it come out?
it
In
was in
the
the
80s, you said?
86 and 87 was when the run occurred.
Yeah.
Which makes sense for all the, and we're going to talk spoilers with Watchmen specifically. So if for some reason you don't want it spoiled, you should probably check out. But like, a lot of it's obviously about like the Cold War and nuclear power and like all that kind of stuff. That's like obviously a huge thing. But dude, it just was like boring most of the time. Like, wasn't it?
Yeah. A lot of time it was hard to follow too, and it's so dense. I mean, there were so many times where we texted. I'm like, dude, it just would take me 30 or 40 minutes to read one issue, and I would have to be locked
Yeah.
in. And then towards the end, like these little snippets that are supposed to be kind of intriguing snippets. I think the approach was interesting. It's just I
Hmm.
wasn't interested enough in the story for it to matter to me. So like giving me some sort of diary entry at the end that's supposed to give me more context to this story, or like some newspaper clipping, like I could see where that would be a cool way to give alternate information or background information, but I mean, I was having too
Yeah.
hard of a time figuring out what was going on. Like, but not in like a suspenseful way, like in a I just don't actually know what's going on right now. And dude,
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll bring this up every time it's a clip of the dude selling newspapers and then beside him is some kid reading comics. Dude, that part took me out of it almost every single time. And I was trying to lock in and be like, all right, let me just fully try and dig deep and see what this is about. And I think it's tough because I feel like it's a good idea. So it's like tough to
Yeah.
just fully bash on it. Sometimes it's like, all right, that's just bad. This wasn't bad
Hmm.
in that sense of like it didn't have anything to say. I think it did. I just didn't care. So it's like it's a different I'm just not
Yeah.
interested. You know what I mean? It's not bad. I'm
Yeah.
just not interested, which is a different
Yeah. And I,
feeling,
I think that's a
like
good way to, put it. I heard, so there's one guy I follow on YouTube did a greatest comics of all time, like his top 10 list. And this was obviously on it. And I think it was either number one or number two. And one of the things he said about it that made me think, okay, maybe I can't connect with it because I'm not deep enough yet. He said the Watchmen is like a love letter to comics. And, I always, when I hear someone say it's a love letter to anything, I'm kind of already half checked out because I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, what does that mean? Um, but I don't even necessarily get it here because I don't know, dude. When you think about all the characters, it's like, bro, what development occurred?
yeah.
What are we being? Because again, I don't think all comics should be this way. A lot of comics, like we're reading Battle Beast right now, dude. I'm just in it to see a fight and to see how crazy
Yeah.
sick the art can be. That's all comics need to be. But if you're gonna make a comic that takes me 40 minutes to read an issue and it's very clearly trying to deal with heavy themes, you know, I'm gonna try to dissect that and figure out what you're saying. And dude, I don't know what this comic was saying. I mean, the
Yeah.
end culmination point, I get. I get the whole theme of, Vite wanted to do this terrible thing in order to bring people together. Dude, it's a God Emperor of Dune story. That's what the Watchmen is.
Yeah.
That's what Vite is. It's a God Emperor of Dune thing where he's trying to put something in place that's terrible, but so that humanity will be stronger overall and will overcome it and be ready for the next step in its evolution. That I
Yeah.
get. I get that that's a cool concept, and I get the compromise that's made, and you're left to question, like, is that worth it? Is it worth those lives? Is it worth millions to save billions?
Yeah.
That's the whole quote from Vite. But dude, it's like, what character changed? Who was like challenged? Like, other than Rorschach, dude, who did anything useful?
Yeah. Which he still stayed the
Like, I
same. He's the
well,
only
he
one who
stayed the same,
stayed
but
like hard line.
he was right the whole time. So, like, if any character
Yeah.
wasn't going to change, it makes sense that it's
Yeah.
Rorschach. But Doctor Manhattan, you make this crazy powerful character, and then he kinda just does nothing, and I feel like that's a commentary in itself. But for entertainment value, dude, so to go back, and if you're not familiar with this is what we do. We go back and forth, can't stay on a straight line, but I'm gonna be real with you for a second here. When it came to the end of issue excerpts, and when it came to the scenes where you were reading a different comic inside the comic, I'm gonna be real, and this is gonna expose me, and this is gonna throw all my opinions out. I get it. I skipped some of those, man. I entirely skipped a few of those. I started all of them, and then once I realized, dude, some of those end of chapter excerpts, I don't care if the biggest comic nerd on the planet, you comment right now and tell me why they were all individually important, bro. Some of them didn't matter. Some of them didn't matter, bro. They meant
No.
nothing, bro. Because I skimmed all of them because I would look and be like,
I did
okay,
too.
let me
I
click
skimmed
each
them all
paragraph
too.
and see like maybe this goes somewhere that's relevant to the story, and it doesn't, bro. It doesn't. The Vite one at the end, you're kind of getting a look into his psyche, but you don't even need it at that point. So, but dude, the comic inside the comic, dude, last 6 issues, I don't know what happened in that comic. I didn't read it.
Well, I read them and I don't know what happened. Dude
I
is
don't know what
somehow
happened.
dying on a boat and uses
Dude,
people
he
to make
uses
them
bodies
float,
to
and then
float. Like,
kills.
yeah.
Then he finds the shore, kills people. Then I don't know, dude. And it was more so. I see what they were doing. It was like in a sense of sometimes
It's
movies
like
will
a
do it
commentary on the
where it'll
commentary.
do a cut. Yeah, it'll do a cut where someone over here is talking about something completely different, and then they'll have a word, like they'll have a phrase, and it'll directly connect into the next scene. Like it sounds like a
Right.
response to whatever's in the next scene, but it's really not, but it conveniently could be. And so it's like, okay,
Right.
that's neat how you did that. But do I need that? Because it's like it'll talk about how like I want two human, something about I see the two shadows of people walking up to me, and then the next scene over is like two people walking over to the newsstand guy. And then it's like, okay, like I see
Yeah, I see what
metaphorically
you're
what you're
doing, but like,
doing,
what's the
but I
point?
don't care. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Oh
was tough,
man.
man, and I'm just for like, I could understand if someone said, "I enjoyed that comic." It's like, okay, but for it being as foundational and as popular and as well loved as it is, I clearly missed something, and maybe it was in the excerpts that I didn't read, and I'll take that. That's on me. But look, guys, let me tell you, if you're a comic person that's here, bro, I read 1,200 page tomes about Roman history. This isn't a matter of not wanting to read like a long
Yeah.
page of something. This is a matter of not wasting my time on something that is so irrelevant and not entertaining, bro. It's just, dude, at the end of the day, it wasn't very entertaining. I really liked one of the early issues where it focuses on Dr. Manhattan just because conceptually it was cool. And then the later issues, the culmination was, obviously it was nice to see where the heck it was going. But again, dude, it's like, what happened? Like, all it is, dude, is a story about a handful of superheroes, and then they do a thing, and then a long time later, one of them has an evil plan to do the God Emperor of Dune on a planetary scale. And that's
Yeah.
all it really is, dude. The Night Owl and the girl that he's with, like, there's, in my opinion, I didn't really see any development or anything that was like, oh, yeah, oh, wow. I just didn't get it, dude. And then you have the girl's
Yeah.
mom, and she has this whole subplot where you find out that she was, assaulted by another superhero, but then she ends up not being mad about it. And it's just like, what is that a
But
commentary
then
on? Like, what,
but then
what
she
is that?
actually wasn't assaulted though.
Well, no,
That
she
was a lie.
was, but she like, I thought she
So but
was.
but the comedian is her dad. The guy who supposedly
Yeah. So
assaulted
he
her
he
is
is
her
yeah,
dad.
he assaulted the mom, and then later after the fact she went back to him. And that's how they
Oh,
ended up
okay.
like, but for I guess the mom, at least that's my understanding. I may have misunderstood. Again, I was
Yeah.
not locked in on this. It was not capable of locking me in. I
It
mean, my
just
favorite
doesn't
character though
matter.
was the
I don't.
Liger,
Was who?
Vite's
Oh,
cat.
Warshire Sauce was the one that kept me engaged the whole time. Anytime I was talking about him, even
Yeah.
though he was so weird, it's because he was so weird. So his chapters were the most engaging to me. But yeah, the Silk Spectre girl,
Yeah,
Laurie,
Silk
I didn't
Spectre, yeah.
really care
Lori.
about her, man. Like I didn't care about her. The Dr. Manhattan was somewhat interesting, but then the Adrian Veidt guy, I feel it comes out of nowhere. So it's like this whole mystery is around this comedian guy, but then he really doesn't even matter. It's just because,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like he ends up
Well,
becoming
it
such a
makes you
minor thing.
well, and it also makes you think that so there's a part where you realize that the comedian and you don't know what it means, but essentially what you're starting to learn at one point is that the comedian knows what Vite's plan is in the future. And it's this whole thing where everything's doomed and there's no point to anything and the comedian's that way because of that to a degree and he like, goes up whatever. But it's like you don't know what Vite's plan is yet. So it sounds like this huge thing. And then you have Dr. Manhattan and you're thinking, wow, the possibilities are endless with this kind of character. But then you find out, dude, I mean, yeah, it's a cool concept. You zap in an alien and it explodes and kills a bunch of people or whatever it's supposed to be. But it's not like overall, it's like, oh, he just knew that one of the guys on the superhero team had an evil plan and he just did nothing about it. It's like, what is the point? Like, what did that mean? If he was so upset about it, why didn't he tell somebody? You know what I mean?
I
It was
don't,
just very strange.
it just the way he could see the future, but then conveniently at the end he couldn't because of, or not that he could see the future. I guess time was all on the same plane to him, and that could have been
Yeah,
cool.
but
But
then
then
at the end, he couldn't.
it
Yeah,
was for nothing. Yeah, it was like, okay. And he goes to Mars, builds this whole thing, and all because he got tricked into thinking that he was giving people cancer, but really he wasn't. And it's like, well, how did he get tricked that way? I don't. And I think Lori
how
even
did he
brings
get
that up. Like,
tricked?
how were you surprised about
Well, yeah,
that?
that, and then how did like I was expecting the whole conversation where between Laura and Doctor Manhattan, where she's trying to convince him to save the world. I mean, I'm like, oh, this is the most profound comic of all time. Everybody says it's number one. This is where it is. It's going to be this conversation, and dude, it's not. Him deciding that he wants to help humanity. I was like, what happened? What changed your mind? I
It's
don't even
that.
remember what she
It's that.
said to him.
It's that whole dialogue about how he's taught. It's all about the science, and he's talking about how. I mean, I guess it is somewhat of it's a profound thing to think that we all of us are mini miracles. So everything that happens on
Hmm.
Earth is a miracle, like that we shouldn't exist based off of like how many sperms there are and there's one egg and
Right.
you being that one and
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
because it happens all around us, we just
But it's
forget
like,
about
why
it.
couldn't
We
he
don't
come to
see
that
how special
conclusion?
that is. Yeah, so he more just wants to come back just to study the miracle of life. Because
Yeah.
Mars doesn't have life, I guess, is what it is. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, coming from Lori, it just didn't land because Lori doesn't care. Like Lori's just hurt
Yeah. Bro, she's
because,
so checked out the whole time. She's
dude,
on
she
Mars and
I
she's
hate to
like, "Can
say
you
it,
just
she
take me
seems
home so I
very
can die?"
surface level. Yeah, she seems very surface level, man. She just wants. I mean, she immediately leaves him and goes sleeps with Owl Dude, and I don't know. It was just very weird to me. And yeah, I was just waiting. I felt like I was just waiting for a big epiphany of like, okay, I just got to get through this next one,
Yes.
and this is when it's going to hit. And there's this huge thing. And then when it became the Vite guy, it's like, but we've barely talked about him,
Yeah.
and it's him.
Yeah, so
Like,
I have no
yeah,
emotional or, like, intellectual reaction to finding out, "Oh, Vite's the bad guy." It's like, "Who's Vite? Which one was he in that flashback from 7 issues ago?
yeah,
Why do I care?" You know what I mean? So, again, that's
yeah.
why I feel like I missed something, and maybe in 10 years after reading a ton of comics, I'll go back and read it and be like, "Oh my god, it's best comic ever," but I just don't. Dude, it was not entertaining. We're reading all these different comics right now. We're reading, like, literally so many different types of comics because we've
Yeah.
dove in head first into the comic world, and this one, dude, stuck out like a sore thumb because I wanted to finish it because I wanted us to be able to talk about it. We were reading it at the same time. I knew it was a crazy good comic, and like you said, I was just waiting for something to happen, and I finished it and was like, I mean, I'm never getting that time back. I'm not
Bro,
Doctor
that whole
Manhattan.
smiley face with the like ketchup on it too, it like was there at the beginning and then with the comedian and then at the end the dude drops ketchup. It was just like I thought that was supposed to be a I kept waiting for that to be integrated into it. You know what I'm talking about? That
Yeah,
logo of theirs.
yeah,
And I mean, I guess the ending is kind of like a tongue in cheek thing with the journal getting buried, and then at the end, because there's world peace, there's nothing like to talk about anymore. Then now it comes to the
yeah.
top, and he's like, "Oh, write about whatever you want. I won't even check it,"
Yeah.
kind of thing. And it's like, okay, like that's
Yeah,
kind of a
but it's
cool
like, what are we even
foreshadowing
supposed to
way. But
think about? I thought it was cool, but what are we even supposed to think about that? It's like Doctor Manhattan and Vite are in this universe, and they've already won. So even if you expose this, what's anybody gonna do? And are they gonna believe
yeah,
you? You know what I mean?
and Rorschach or whatever his name is, which I mean, he's dead. I mean, him just getting
Yeah, he got
blasted
zapped.
was crazy. He
Yeah,
was
that
like,
was
"Do it,
insane.
just do it." It was the classic, "Just do it," and they usually don't, and he does. And it was like,
He's
all right,
like, "All right,
man.
bet." Well, and then that remember that
Yeah,
part with Vite when he's in his little Antarctica snow globe and those 3 he brings those 3 guys out, and I guess they're the guys that helped him, like, build everything for his plans, and then he lets them die. That whole scene felt like such a waste to me. I was like, "Who are these guys?
yeah.
What are they all trying to accomplish? What do they think's going on?" Like, I don't know, man. It was just, and then Vite catches a bullet at the end. I was just like, what is going on?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, the bullet killed
Remember?
him a little too much. Yeah, I mean, he deserved to die. Like, it's like, okay, his plan goes through, but then he should have been killed. That's what I didn't understand about why they didn't do that. Like, I get it. Dr. Manhattan's like, well, we actually can't expose this because if mathematically it doesn't make sense. Okay, for sure. We can still kill him though. Like, why are we
Yeah,
not like, we're like, oh, he already
yeah.
did it,
He
so
just
there's
killed
nothing we can
millions.
do.
Like,
And he
and
killed
he
our
killed his
boy,
cat.
Rorschach. Yeah, it's like, all right, but we'll just live with him. It's fine because
So
clearly he's not
someone
going to make any more
please,
reckless decisions.
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he won't have another evil plan to hatch in 20 years. But yeah, if you are like a Watchmen person and you know what's up, I am open and ready to be like to understand and know that I am wrong and that I missed something. So tell us what Watchmen is. What is like I get that there's some themes, but like what about it makes it so foundational, popular, well loved, critically acclaimed that we are missing? Is it because we're new to comics and we're not at that level yet? Is it because we read too much real stuff or really good fantasy books? So like we know what good entertainment is? Is it, you know what I
This
mean? Like I don't know. What is it?
this felt like something I would have to read for school. This felt like homework,
Yeah,
like
it
reading this.
did,
You know
dude.
what I mean?
I felt
It
like
felt
I
like,
was
okay,
reading
this
Crime
has
and
a deep
Punishment.
meaning, but yeah, I'm like, all right, I know this is supposed to be good,
Yeah,
but I'm only
yeah,
reading this because I got a quiz on Friday, and
yeah. And I failed that quiz because again, I skimmed, and skimmed is a conservative word to use, a liberal word to use in this context. Um, so yeah, I mean, Watchmen. I didn't give any of these issues or the whole series overall a 2 or even a 3. Like, there were
no,
still some
yeah, I
really
gave it
cool
all fours.
moments. Yeah, it was all like 4s and maybe a 3.5 or 2 in there. A couple of them I gave 4.5 or 5 because I really just thought those issues stood out. Like I said, one of the earlier ones I think 4, and then the last or second to last. But overall, yeah, man, I was really looking forward to this. I have owned this since I was like in high school, this trade paperback, and I've never read it. I don't know where it came from, but it's been one of those things that every time I've moved locations, it's like been there, and I see it at some point and go, "Oh yeah, I have the Watchmen comic." Like, why do I have that? I guess I'll keep it, and it just ends up in a drawer somewhere. And when we talked about reading, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have it." So I went and found it, and I was like, "Dude, I'm excited. I've owned this forever." It's like it's
It's a
been
sign,
waiting.
dude.
It's been waiting for me to read it all these
And I
years, and
bought
it was
and I
just a
bought the
disappointment.
deluxe hardback, so that
Yeah,
was
you did,
great.
buddy.
And it looks
Yeah,
sick.
you
I won't
did.
lie, it looks really cool, but you know, it happens.
Happens to the best of them, but so yeah, I mean that's Watchmen. That's a full recap of most of the stuff we've read over the last week. So yeah, please inform us on what we're missing in Watchmen. Let us know the current comic runs that you're currently reading, especially if they're good and you think we should hop on that thing. And I think that's about it.
Watch up,
Kill
people.
millions to save billions.
We're out.